We are back, baby. We are back. Zombie season, pumpkin season, Oktoberfest, best month of the year for both Coach Joe and I.
Birthday month. It's almost birthday week, man.
Dude.
Both of us.
It's no, we're safe, sound, and asleep, baby. No coinkydink that October has the most flourished month of birthdays within my gym of being an October boy. So something about you attract your own energies, right? It's manifestation 101.
Yeah, we got a team full of Libras. I know a couple birthdays. We got Nora's birthday is also this week. Melissa Heller has an October 14th birthday. We're just loaded with October. It was Joe Barash's birthday yesterday.
Just go on Wodify. Wodify don't lie, y'all.
Yeah.
Now listen, we don't do the whole like, if it's your birthday, don't come to me asking for a birthday workout or some shit, all right? Like every day it's you celebrate your birthday just by being here. You know what I mean?
We have one birthday workout in the history of CrossFit MFP, and it's Arnaldo's.
Wait, did I actually make that a Arnaldo birthday workout?
Yeah, it was Arnaldo's 50th birthday workout. It was 50 overhead squats.
You're right, I did. Yeah. Arnaldo special.
There is one birthday workout in the history of CrossFit MFP, and that's the way it will remain.
Old school flashback. I did make a workout for a member once, and her name's Lauren Bricker-Myers. For those who don't know Lauren Bricker-Myers, she was an original member for the first few years, and she was an absolute beast. She was a teacher. She had two beautiful little girls, and she'd always bring them to the gym. But she was just like a raw, like, mom athlete. She was like a track and field background, maybe like a thrower or something, or maybe she probably was like a decathlete or some shit. She was like that kind of versatile athlete, and just was a sled dog. Going back to the sled dog vibes, from last week with Bevon. She was one of those, and so when she left, it was quite heartbreaking. So I did make her a Lauren Bricker-Myers workout. I might have to bring it back. It's like just a big chipper of running and power cleans, pull-ups, maybe wall balls in there or something else. So
well, I did promise Arnaldo that we will do a workout for his 100th birthday. So we also will have in 50 years or 49 years. I did promise Arnaldo that.
Dude.
So I have that in the calendar somewhere, or at least in my personal calendar.
If any of you guys make it to 100, which we should be because what we're doing at MFP, you will get a 100th birthday workout. I think, honestly, when we get Joe DeBello to get to like 80, I'll make like an 80th birthday workout for Joe DeBello.
Yeah, that'll be a good milestone.
All right, we definitely know Joe DeBello is an avid listener of the podcast. Talking about, we got to get Joe DeBello figured the fuck out with this Wodify.
Yeah, Wodify is destroying Joe's life right now. So.
It totally is. All right, okie dokie. How you feeling from workouts this week?
Good, man. A little sore. Good flow though. Definitely feeling a good amount of fatigue overall. Just like in my lats, I think too. Just like good amount of pulling. Quads a little sore just from flowing, but it's been good. Yesterday was a nice challenge for me. Just like constant movement. Seems like I had some great classes. People were all moving well. Today's longevity flow was definitely a much needed like restorative piece to complement Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday so far. So
love
it. Good, man. Feeling good.
For anyone that's listening here, by the way, we're getting Joe's mic figured out. By the way, so we're close. We're close.
Comment on if you can actually hear me. Because previously I sounded so bad. Hopefully, I don't expect to sound great right now, but I'm hoping I sound.
No, you sound great. Let's clear that out. And we got, last week we had 24 live viewers. We got one right now, so we're gonna build up. It's probably my mom, honestly.
Comment how my audio is.
Your audio is great. So what you guys will notice is that as he's talking, it'll make like a. It's probably something picking up from your AirPod or maybe like a Bluetooth thing.
Yeah.
But you're much crystal clear than last week, so we're getting Joe fixed up.
We're working on it.
Yeah, I feel pretty good, man. It was from Tuesday. Well, Monday, Tuesday were good back to back. Again, shorter time domains. But again, like the trends, we keep working on that. Like that's Mr. Viola. Look at that, bang. We were working on a lot of transitions. Being quick, smooth, efficient, which also picks up the intensity. So even though like the volume of Monday was like a total of 60 squats, which is a decent amount, even with like lighter dumbbells, pressing, getting those max reps. Like even the 60 V-ups, not a lot of volume, but at the rate and intensity of us doing that, like it definitely increases the muscle fiber tears. In addition to like Tuesday, right, we only worked out for 9 minutes basically in that second part, right? The first part was a good primer, get the weights feeling nice and light so you can move it quickly. And again, it's just like that combo. Like even though it's like a more of an upper body pull with the snatch, like you do get that hip extension and leg drive and that combination of a box jump, which is pretty much the same thing. So like yesterday, Wednesday, I was feeling pretty. Tuesday. After Tuesday, that whole day, I was feeling like pretty tenderoni in my legs, just because we did, even the squats getting low volume but at higher intensity. But yesterday, like it was obviously the 4 rounds, 1 minute rest. Again, you don't have a lot of time to like hide, right? You have to transition because the clock's making you transition and it's making you move. And so like that leg fatigue after like the first round, because you got the dip and drive from the kettlebells, you got the standing bike, and you got that jump over the block. But what I like about that, especially with like just the body weight Cossacks for mobility, even though the intensity was high, the movement patterns and the flow of that was also simultaneously a flush for the legs from like Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't as much like eccentric movement in the way you think about that with like the barbell and the box jump. So today I'm feeling pretty good. I've wrote Friday's workout like 3 times already, like different numbers and reps and variations, and so I'll be testing that out in the morning and getting a good idea for that.
I always feel great at Thursday night at 7 p.m. after I do the longevity float 3 times. After I do the longevity stretch 3 times, I feel like a rock star, man. So Thursday at like 7 p.m. is when I feel my best.
I just had to move Binks. He was in the room here. Yeah, I know. Isn't that like the best when we do like stretch? Yeah. Like, yeah, I feel pretty good, but we'll see. We'll see after tomorrow's gonna be pretty gnarly on the lower body, and actually everything. So we shall see. All right, you ready to be triggered, man?
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to keep shooting the shit before we get into our topic today. We got a good show for you guys today. We're going to talk about CrossFit addiction and all this good stuff with CrossFit being a gateway drug for you. Both positive, potentially negative, maybe neutral. But we like to shoot the shit and things that have just been floating around in the fitness and CrossFit space. One being our favorite for a decent amount of time, Mr. Peter Attia. For those who don't know who that is, he wrote that book, Outlive. And before I trigger you, Joe, saying that Peter Attia is a fraud, this has actually really nothing to do with the book, because the book is still extremely valid. It's a great read. It has a lot of just general information, a lot of data about why he comes up with what he comes up with, because he's a very data-driven individual when it comes to health and wellness. But the previous week, he made a podcast with 3 of the biggest fart sniffers in the fitness and wellness space. And when you start to put yourself in a room of fart sniffers, you start to get whiffs of that. And then that starts to integrate itself in your own cloud. And we all have our own clouds of fart, and some of us are a little bit more fart sniffers than others. But it seemed like after this conversation with these 3 turds that he didn't push back. And that's where I come to this conclusion that he's a fraud, because like you you're not validating anything with your own opinion. You're just kind of like shaking your head and, all right. You know what I mean?
What were some of the things you wanted him to push back on?
Well, let's just first talk about the concept of like what categorizes someone as a fart sniffer,
Yeah,
right?
that's actually a good point.
Right. And again, if you're somebody that's not a South Park fan, I could see why a lot of people may be turned off by South Park. But they had a great episode back in the day about people in California who like it was like a whole thing with whatever Teslas or something like that, and being smug. And basically, when you you just love the smell of your own farts. You just think you're so much above somebody else with your ideologies or methodologies. And that's basically what who Mike Boyle is, Mr. Athlean X, and I forget the woman's name, who's still, I don't know, she's probably been in the space for a long time, but I think she's more up and coming. Now, with that being said, all three of them, and obviously Peter Attia, have very valuable things because they're highly experienced in the field. They've been around for a long time. They have really valuable concepts with the way they think and the way they train. So, for example, Mike Boyle, I know very well because when I had moments of my training time, personal training, I worked for a program that he developed called Thrive, which is basically his spin-off of a functional fitness group class experience under his Mike Boyle strength and conditioning program. And he's well known for training a bunch of hockey players. He has his training facility up in Maine, and he is very adamant about the whole idea of like we should be doing everything unilateral. We should be doing everything on one side. Doing bilateral movements like a squat or a deadlift are more detrimental than they are positive for strength, fitness, longevity, whatever. So that's like his big thing. There's a lot of other things that he talks about. The Mr. Athlean X is like just basically a big puss. He doesn't do anything very high intensity. He's kind of like your structure. Do your upper body one day, lower body this day. He's very like he's like exercises that he's like never do, which I disagree with. I think when it comes to certain exercises, everything can have a time and place, and I think we can integrate different methodologies for certain reasons. And the one lady, she actually had really good stuff too. I mean, she was great with some of her perspectives, but they all end up going into this like whole anti-not squatting thing, which was one of the big highlights. Like, we should not be doing squats. And all of them are objective opinions based on their own personal experiences. Like, she's basically saying we shouldn't squat and I got hurt squatting, but really her issue was she had hip dysplasia, which basically is just a fucked up hip her whole life. And squatting exposed her to that, and she's kind of like a rare anomaly, and why unilateral stuff would be much better for her. Mike Boyle has this whole concept of, his studies of how he developed the whole unilateral concept, and which has some value, but I think it's a little bit biased when you're doing like only split squatting variations, so you're not even going to like full depth. And then the other guy, Athlean X, he just kind of like nods his head on everything. And so does like Attia. Like he doesn't come back with like, other variations. He's like, yeah, well, and then Boyle says, we should only be goblet squatting for people that are 65 plus, which I could agree with. Like I can agree with a lot of his things. But going back to when I was doing his training program, not to tangent too much, like I went to one of his seminars, a big seminar up in Rhode Island. And it was all basically under the branch of his Mike Boyle strength and conditioning. And there were a bunch of talks, and I went to one of his talks. The first thing he did is he wanted to poo-poo on CrossFit, which probably all of them do. And obviously I'm biased, and I can smell my own farts once in a while. I can enjoy a good fart sniff, but my farts are also integrated from a bunch of different, meat, vegetables, fruits, you name it. Like I take from everything. I give, credit to what I've learned from, and I take a lot of different things with an open mind. I don't think there should be one all be all. And so like he was just kind of like made that statement. I'm like, okay, well, if you're gonna be that kind of guy to initiate your seminar, like what is that doing for you? Just like say what you believe and why you like to do it, but also you can learn a lot from being open minded to understanding
Yeah.
other methodologies.
Yeah, that stuff is so frustrating, man. I mean, one of the things that also drives me the most crazy in this space is people who, like, and a lot of them do it well. They make a lot of money building a brand they try to build a brand that is the better version of CrossFit. Like, oh, like, it'll be the only, it's like the only group in the world that tries to build up their own brand by saying they're better than another methodology. So, and there's a lot of CrossFitters in the space too that are like retired CrossFitters that like are who they are because of CrossFit, and now they're like, I did CrossFit for years and now I'm doing this instead, and like by my programming, like all that stuff really drives me nuts. I haven't listened to the podcast. I would be disappointed in my guy Atia if he didn't push back. I believe that he didn't. But the thing
Well,
that would
what's
frustrate.
causing conflict and controversy in his podcast isn't going to make his podcast look good. Of course he's going to shake his head yes, and um, again, it's
Well,
just it's just like, well, what good does that get you from being that type of mindset where
yeah,
I mean, you got even CrossFitters and CrossFit affiliate owners that are like, Greg Glassman, we need to put him on a pedestal. He's the end all be all, right?
yeah.
And yeah, I'm biased and I think he's got a lot of great stuff, but also, where's the growth for other things?
I think the thing that I loved most about like Peter Tia's concept of longevity is that like you're not going to achieve longevity if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Like you need to be challenging yourself at specific ages, adding all these elements of fitness. Like you need to be building in strength.
Well, this is actually a good point here, because the big part of the fart sniffing group, another part of being a fart sniffer, is that you try to scare people away with the smell of your farts.
Yeah, the fear
And
mongering.
and this is a big no. Like any person, any fitness methodology or whatever you do, if you start to fearmonger a mass population of people and say don't do this, don't like. Obviously, and then Boyle tries to put all these data as like, blank out of blank people are going to get hurt from doing deadlifts and squats. Yet there's millions and millions and millions of people that squat daily and are perfectly healthy, have great mobility, and have great longevity, right? It's all about the individuals, the teachings, the progressions, the understanding of movement patterns. Like there's so much that goes into it, and you can't just make these generalizations based on your own objective opinions about it and experiences, and then try to relate that to the mass population and scare them off of doing or even exploring the idea of sitting in a bilateral squat or doing a bilateral squat, potentially with a barbell and some variation.
Yeah, and with something like fitness, where like there's an infinite way of combining different elements, you could find and pull data in a million different ways just to like tell kind of the story you're trying to tell and to support your claim. So I don't know. My main opinion, that sucks.
Yeah. Anyway, it was just like the fear mongering stuff, and like the Athlean X is like ultimate fear mongering. Like, oh, you're gonna get hurt if you do high pulls. Yet Active Life RX, one of the highest well-known physical therapists in the CrossFit space, he's like, yeah, you should be able to do for shoulder health. We should be able to have the capacity to do 33% of your body weight with a high pull, and in terms of structural balance, and then applying that to like your vertical pulling, like your pull-ups. Like high pulls are great,
Yeah,
but in the context where you're doing them.
I think the main message is just like try to stay away from people who tell you their main point to tell you what you should be avoiding, as opposed to like what's good, what you should be doing. Like if they're coming from a place of fear, if they're coming from a place of like making you nervous, and afraid to move, then it's not necessarily a place where you should. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not really a place where you should find value.
Agree. Yep. So it's just something, closing on this whole fart sniffer debacle with Dr. Peter Attia. If you guys are out there and you're looking at, people who are high up in strength and conditioning, fitness methodologies, and they tell you, don't do this, don't do that, fear mongering, or my method is the best method, and this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is going to get you hurt.
Yeah.
Stay open-minded and stay curious, because that's what I even know when all of them shit on CrossFit. Like, I am very curious to what they have to offer and what they have to say, because they're obviously well educated in what they do in some areas, but obviously they have no experience in other areas, and that's where they make their their claims. So anywho, there's a lot going on in the CrossFit space. There was a coaches congress. We should actually maybe one day in a few years from now, go to one of these affiliate con events for coaches and affiliate owners. It was really a big deal. It was in London, and it was pretty dope to see a lot of the content that came out, because it's just really cool to be, even when I did the affiliate summit 2 years ago in Maryland, it's just cool to be around a lot of like-minded individuals who love the CrossFit methodology, just want to help people and change people's lives. Is really motivating to come back to your affiliate and really do something exciting for what you've built. So it's just cool to see a lot of that. It's cool to see that the CrossFit community is crazy strong. I know there's a lot that's been happening over the 5 years, and the rumor of CrossFit selling is potentially not even maybe they're not even up for sale now, because it's hard to even get a buyer. So it's still in private equity. And then apparently Don Fall stood up during Rich Froning's lecture and was hey, let's just get in a conversation. Let's just sit down and have a conversation, because Rich Froning and Mayhem are really influencing this whole idea that they're gonna start their own Mayhem affiliate, even though they're very, very clear on their values. We are going to 100% be what we do is CrossFit. Everything is CrossFit. We are 100% with the methodology. Our values are faith, family, fitness, and service, and we want to spread CrossFit. But if CrossFit doesn't have a clear direction as an organization, we might go off on our own. So it seemed like they all wanted to kind of get to working together, and it seemed really cool for CrossFit worldwide. And there's a lot of cool things happening, even with the Open. Dave Castro's doing a lot with the Navy SEALs and having an Open announcement there on the Air Force base. But this is funny. If you guys see on the whiteboard up front, fitness in 100 words. There's a lot of really good content in that on that poster. But for some laughs and giggles, AI has this thing where you can, I guess, put in whatever with someone famous, and then they'll basically speak whatever words. It's kind of scary as fuck thinking about that. Make them say shit that you want them to say.
Vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch and no sugar.
Keep intake to levels that will support exercise, but not body fat.
Practice and train nature lifts, deadlifts, cleans, squats, presses, clean and jerk, and snatch.
Similarly, master the basics of gymnastics. Pull-ups, dips, rope climbs, and happy little push-ups.
Crikey, mate. Sit-ups, presses to handstand, pirouettes, flips, splits, and hold.
Bike, run, row, swim, etc. Hard and fast.
5 or 6 days per week, mix these elements in as many combinations and patterns as creativity will allow.
Routine is the enemy. Keep workouts short and intense, and regularly learn and play new sports.
Fluffy Duck.
Eat meat.
It's got funny shit, man.
That is good.
Dude, the fucking
You love AI, man.
oh god, I know. I'm AI. Well, this is great, right? I mean, rest in peace, Robin Williams. I mean, obviously, rest in peace to a handful, all of them, pretty much. But like,
I don't think anybody's alive from that video.
I know. I had a dream where we all did a CrossFit. We all come together to love, learn, and be fit. Getting into our topic today, we're going to talk about CrossFit addictions, and it brought me back to this time here where young Marco was preparing. Whoa, that's a big screen. Preparing for his fitness competitions known as the regionals in the CrossFit space. And again, I'm going to sniff my own farts a little bit, but also use it as context for our topic of discussion. This is 365 pounds. Now, granted, no weightlifting shoes, no knee sleeves, no belt. Horrible fucking front rack and catch. Now, my pull, if we were doing a little weightlifting analysis, I got a fucking great pull. First pull's great. Arms are fairly straight into the hip, full extension. Good speed under the bar, and then talking about fart sniffing, I probably shit my pants right there, honestly. But the idea is this whole idea of living in the past of like our older selves and what we achieved in the past with our fitness and being attached to that when moving forward. Look at this guy. We remember this guy right here. Staying attached to the past and not allowing that to move us forward with our CrossFit journey. And I can definitely say that, I will probably not be cleaning 365 pounds again. I could if I really wanted to, but I do CrossFit. I don't necessarily, I don't do weightlifting, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God! As a person interested in history, that was terrifying. It's not.
Yeah, we gotta.
Yeah, we want
back the farts.
Yeah, well, I know. Well, we ended on farts last episode, so I figured I'd bring it in. Yeah. So I mean, we'll talk about it with this whole idea of CrossFit addictions, and allowing that being an important part of my journey. Using it as a fuel for me to continue to work hard, but also not being attached to it. So let's get to work. Sound good?
Let's roll.
All right, I'm going to sniff my own farts here as we do
last time.
Last time, 3 times. We're going to take 3 fart sniffing breaths. So wherever you're at, if you're in your police vehicle, maybe sitting behind the Mac Mart stand, serving something, somewhere in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, on SEPTA. Take a moment. Be present. Take a deep breath through your nose. Hold your breath. Slow exhale through the mouth. Deep breath in through the nose. Hold your breath. Slow exhale. Last breath. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and let it all out. Should probably make it sound like
too many farts.
Basically, Mo said, basically a fart podcast. All right, let's get that mic working, brother. What do you got?
So I have a quote. I think it ties in pretty well with our topic. I'll preface this with saying I love John Green, by the way. This is a John Green quote. John Green is not like a medical historian or like a scientist, but he's like the perfect view of someone being open-minded. Like he's written just like classic, like loves. He wrote like the classic love story novel Fault in Our Stars, but he's also written like his new book Everything Is Tuberculosis, or his other book, I forget, something from the Anthropocene. I read it. I'm forgetting the full title, but like he's just a curious, open-minded guy. And one of his quotes says, "One of the strange things about adulthood is that you are your current self, but you are also all the selves you used to be, the ones you grew out of, but can't ever quite get rid of." So you can think about this in terms of yourself, but also just like in terms of CrossFit. I mean, looking back at CrossFit, man, like you can go back to those early OG days of 2004, 2005. Like CrossFit is, all these things together at the same time as what it is now. Like, and you yourself, like, going back to the video of young Beefcake Marco, like doing 365-pound clean, like, John Gruden. No, I would not quote John Gruden. But maybe next week. But
Right.
with this constant growth, I think it's important to remind yourself that like you never quite get rid of the old versions of yourself, CrossFit, anything like that. And I think it's a good thing.
I love it. That was like a big theme a lot, within the past like year, talking about just evolving, right? How do we evolve in ways that we still, remain true to like our authentic selves in essence, in whatever version of that it is. Even with MFP, right? MFP's changed in so many ways since the very beginning. There's still a lot of pieces from the very beginnings and the origins of MFP, but it's also grown in a lot of really new and exciting ways, and it will continue to. So whatever that journey looks like, we'll see. But we, like we said, we're always trying to be as best as we can in that here and now moment. So talking about that and translating into our topic today, we're talking about CrossFit addictions, because exercise in itself, it stimulates a lot of hormonal responses that make you feel good majority of the time, right? And those chemical reactions that happen within your body, within the hormones, tell the brain this is good. And sometimes it might scare you just from what we do or whatever. But again, CrossFit and the way it does that, that can be, or just fitness in general, can make you want more of that, right? And that can have, again, positives. That could potentially have negatives, and it can have some things that are in between of both. So the reason why CrossFit, I call it a gateway drug, because it's so expansive in the methodology and what we learn. So I just figured I would start with just some pros and some good things, some good addictions to what we get from doing CrossFit. And the first one I start with is the Great Awakening. And I've been saying this over and over like the past week and a half because we have a new member, Paul. And
Paul's been going through the Great Awakening.
And it's like when you're you're a newbie and you're very open-minded and you have this whole like awakening to this idea of, and you go through a great awakening when you walk out of the gym with more curiosity than discouragement, right? And that's why we try to allow people to have with their first experiences. That goes both ways, right? You have to have that mindset of being curious. So when you walk out and you're like, wow, like what the fuck just happened to me? Like that was, I kind of want to try it again. Another big part of it being a gateway drug and positive is that you develop these wide range of skills, right? So we know we have the three, modalities: weightlifting, gymnastics, monostructural, and the integration of blending all those and, like we said, different variations versus a routine, right? Reps, sets, time, flow, stimulus, intention, seeking challenges, seeking new things for mental development. So knowing, because CrossFit is not easy, right? That's our value. That's what we message now a lot more, is just like, it's not a quick fix. Like this is going to challenge you. Are you taking that as a way that's humbling, right? Are you walking out with that curiosity like, wow, I was humbled. like this could be beneficial for me, for my mental development. And that itself can be addicting, right? Knowing that you're going to improve your mental health. And then just like non-traditional intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. So an example would be like community. You know, you can be addicted to just feeling a sense of being a part of something greater than yourself.
Yeah, and when I look back at like my own introduction to CrossFit, like I can kind of see myself going through each of these stages, but I think there also comes with like the Great Awakening. I think it's also important to note that like it's not always like the curiosity is not always like a fun experience. Like I remember for me when I first started doing CrossFit, my older brother also at the time like joined an affiliate, and I was like on the phone with him. I was like, what the fuck? We're doing these things called double unders. Like it's so stupid. Like I can't do them. And like, what's the point of having the rope spin twice? Let's just do regular. And I know a million people feel that same way. Like when they see initially when you get frustrated because you can't do it, right? Like you get frustrated, like, oh, obviously if you've never done a double under before, you're not going to be able to do it in your first day. Or if you've never gotten inverted, it's going to take time to get inverted. And, you know, you say it all the time, like this is not a quick fix. And I think that it takes, you know, the people who don't necessarily, you know, aren't a great fit for CrossFit are the people who realize that, oh, this is going to take time. And like, you're going to be frustrated when you don't know these skills immediately. And you're going to be frustrated when you can't do something. But there's also just that part of the addiction, I think, is then once you start to get it, like, oh, like, yeah, I got some double unders, like, oh, I'm getting inverted, like, oh, I'm kipping. Like once you start to get it, like it's such a good feeling. And I think a lot of new people, new members can attest to that. Like your first something's like there's such a rush with it almost. Like like I don't know, you achieve something, you've done something new and challenging. That's a cool thing.
Yeah, I love it. And I always kind of come back to like the whole awakening curiosity perspective. You know, I always come back to this notion that it's, you know, psychedelics and CrossFit are extremely identical when it comes to the experience, because it's not necessarily easy. They're not necessarily the most, you know, fun experiences we can say sometimes, and you're going to have things that are going to maybe slap you in the face and wake you up a little bit. And you have the opportunity to look at those from a certain frame of reference, right? Like, and again, I still go through a shit ton of CrossFit challenges all the time. And I remember having my own debacles with jump ropes, weightlifting, you know, learning how to do kipping pull-ups, doing handstand push-ups, trying to achieve a certain time for a certain competition or qualifier and not achieving it. And it, you know, but something always kept pulling me back. And just like some of those psychedelic experiences, like you have those tastes of things that maybe are hard to sometimes reface, but going into like what doesn't make them a con is how you integrate and how you continue to move forward with it, and what are your support systems like. So another part going into cons now is part with continuing CrossFit and like this whole addiction is these are more, I guess you can call like physiological factors, right? So like a dependency upon correlating factors towards improvement of health. So I'm doing this just because like it's making me sweat, or, you know, I'm always looking at my heart rate monitor and I always have to achieve a certain, you know, burn certain calories during this time I'm in. And not saying that those are bad things to like and enjoy, but it's the attachment to those of like that becomes your why of why you go show up for that 1 hour. Is it because, and like sometimes it's okay, like it's we want to again not poo-poo it, like maybe you just need to get in one day and you just need to sweat and you just want to move, and because I'm just feeling maybe like shit today and I just want to move my body and feel better. Great. But it's becoming attached to those concepts. And that's not what we do in CrossFit. That's not our greater methodology. Like we have, again, let's just say 90% of the time, we want to be intentional when we show up and when we leave. And usually people that show up with that mindset don't last.
Yeah. And I think a challenge too is this mindset gets pushed on people a lot, just with the way like wellness and biohacking marketing for products is now. I mean, just in general, with the idea with a product like Whoop, which is huge in the CrossFit space. I mean, they have like, I used to have a Whoop, and then I went anti-Whoop for a lot of reasons, and that could be a whole other podcast why I went anti-Whoop. But you know, their main idea of you getting fitter is you just spending X amount of time at this heart rate zone building your strain, which is like a metric they created. So like people would come in and be like, oh, like my strain's not high enough, and like I just want to sit mindlessly on a echo bike for 30 minutes just to like get to that point. And like, what do you like? The idea of you increasing your fitness and getting so religious and, you know, fixated on what your sensor is saying, like it turned me off so much to that product. And we're not sponsored by Whoop, by the way.
They also fucked CrossFit with like a couple $1 million worth of like they owe them a couple hundred, or not a couple hundred, a couple $1 million from like a sponsorship, and they couldn't put it up.
We're not sponsored by Whoop. But like but that idea of like you know, this very like constructed view of what fitness is thrown onto people, and I get it. Like I get why people get into that, get stuck in that mindset. It's hard. It's the world we live in, man.
Yeah. Another one is pain. Like, and I think this is kind of funny talking like after like with Brendan Vaughn, he's like, I love feeling fucking destroyed after.
Yeah. He loves that.
And again, like,
it's okay to love it.
It's okay to love, like, trust me, some of my favorite CrossFit moments are when I'm completely, like, I send it so hard, like during the open, right? Like, I send it so hard to where I'm in a moment where I'm laying on the ground, which I don't ever really do, except when I know I'm in competitive standpoint and I need to send it. And I feel parts of my, like, I have like an outer body experience. Like, I have a shamanic psychedelic, and I feel like I could just let my soul leave my body for a minute and just let it ride. And I love that from time to time. But I mean, that's, again, being addicted to that is where we start to, like, that's where it comes in the whole conversation of like, are we not having a well-balanced program with intensity? That's a whole nother conversation. Another con is like, this might even be a CrossFit addiction, but it's the mindset of like, I have to go to the gym because I have to become healthy and I have to, like, you know, do this. And which, okay, but again, like Bevon said, it's like, we get to do this. Like, we have this opportunity every day to show up and do something challenging and do something that's going to allow us to be better humans, right? So just that little shift in mindset, I think, you know, depending on where it would be a con. But I had this like medium, these mediums that like, it could be pros, could be cons. It just depends. And I guess like everything I already said kind of already can be in that category. But specifically, I put body composition, because we know, like something they talked about on the fart sniffing podcast, like they were talking about obviously like muscle mass being a key factor to longevity. Like, that's why we need resistance training, right? And that's something we can all agree with. But like, do we start to have, and we all can be guilty of this too, because we all want to look good and feel good naked. We all want to be able to take our shirts off and feel confident about the way we look. And we also don't want to be judgmental towards our own physical body, but it can be very easy to. So, you know, having healthy muscle mass versus like body dysmorphia, and become so attached to the scale and so attached to body composition results that it takes us off a path of, you know, again, why we even show up at the gym to begin with, and vice versa. Are we using body composition metrics to track our progress for intrinsic motivation to continue to show up?
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, man. I mean, 5 minutes a day, I feel like shit. yeah.
I have it all the time, dude. If I don't work out, it's like it fucks with you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and like in reality though, the grand picture of your life, like if you don't work out for a day, it might even be a helpful thing for you. Your body might even enjoy having some of that rest. But anybody who tells you that like they have never felt a little bit like insecure about like showing up or the way their body is probably lying. Like, it's just a human nature thing to be self-critical. And I think the most important, part with this is just being in a community that is like a healthy, supportive community, one that like encourages, what you are doing as opposed to like what it is perceived that your body looks like or what you're doing. So, I mean, it's such a common experience, and I think that it's something that everybody manages. Like affiliate owners, members, coaches, everybody goes through that same process. And being open about it and talking about it is honestly the best thing you could do, because it's sometimes it's uncomfortable to talk about that shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little like nobody wants to be self-critical, but that happens, man.
Well, I think that's normal. Even like going back to this comment here, right? Like, if we don't get in, and I can agree to a lot of this because like, yeah, like we exercise because of those chemical reactions that happen. Like we move energy throughout our body, we get endorphins going, like we feel self-worth, right? But also like, all of our schedules and lives are different, and so how do we balance like the pain and suffering versus like taking a day off and being like soft? How do we balance like the intense and soft? So I think it's all relative, right? And how do we balance that? And I think that comes out that last point here with like the mediums is like, am I going through this challenge for like to punish myself, or am I doing it for growth? And like that could be a whole nother psychological topic of like why some people, and then we do have people that have gone through it, and I've seen it, and I've been around long enough to know when somebody is, putting himself through pain and discomfort for other reasons. But again, like those are just some things to speculate on, and some things I've seen throughout doing this for, almost 15 years now. So all the good stuff, man. I got one more concept here I thought was interesting. I call this like the mega con, is the addiction to, or we can say like attachment to a single modality mindset. So because we learn all these things in CrossFit, and I've seen it so much throughout the years, is people getting so attached to like, just the weightlifting, just gymnastics, just the running, and like revolving their whole mindset and training about, and like, again, you're going to do CrossFit, you're going to have 1,000 weaknesses, and you're going to have a handful of strengths. And maybe when you first start, everything's fucking hard, and you have trouble doing everything. But maybe that progresses to like becoming so attached to, why aren't we back squatting all the time? Why aren't we doing pull-ups all the time? Why aren't we doing handstands all the time? Why aren't we running more? And become so attached to one modality. And my easiest answer to that is, we are a CrossFit gym. We're not a Ninja Warrior gym. We're not a weightlifting, powerlifting, strongman gym. We're not a, run club. We tried run club for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
R.I.P. to run club.
I've been asked to bring it back, and the answer is
there
no,
you go.
I'm not bringing run club back.
But CrossFit is about fitness and integration of those modalities. And yes, like we'll go through phases where we might develop certain skills so that we can use those as progressions and all that. But, there's how many times have we seen people in CrossFit spaces because they've struggled with CrossFit because they come attached to a modality, they go and they leave and they start just weightlifting, or they just start running and they just start doing, whatever, which could be okay, right? Maybe CrossFit was a gateway for you to learn something new, but it didn't allow you to really understand what the methodology does in terms of expanding your full physical potential. And that takes a long time. That does not, next segue is like the beginner's adaptation. When you do CrossFit for your first 3 months to a year, you're PRing everything. You are fucking shit up, especially if you're consistent. That is
baseline is zero.
And it's all what we call a neurological adaptation. Yes, you'll see muscle mass changes and body comp change, but your brain, it's basically like what we're doing with Jack and Hazel right now. Like they're fucking taking everything in and they're just absorbing everything, and they're then integrating it and doing it so quickly. And it's like, holy shit, like how'd you start walking or crawling the next day once you start figuring out? And that's basically what's happening as a beginner. And the part that could be detrimental is like getting attached to that, because like I showed you with the clean, and when you've been doing this for a long time, if I ever get a 1 pound PR on anything, it would be the greatest day of my life. And I could train it too, but I'd have to really train it. And if I did that, I would lose my fitness. I would lose CrossFit. I would lose my ability to expand other skills. And so it's really hard to have those conversations within the journey, because you got to be able to, again, remember, one, your why of like why we're doing this in the first place. Trust that we can still develop these skills, even still get stronger in certain lifts and things like that as we do phases. And also just kind of like looking at all this from a maintenance perspective. Like everything, like, I want to progress on things, and I still can, and I still will, and we'll still get there. But if you have a maintenance mindset, you'll give yourself a better opportunity down the road to make adaptation to something that you want to work on. Because if you're always trying to reach for that single thing, and yes, we all want to like PR this, and we have those goals. I don't know. Sometimes it could be a slippery slope of progression.
Yeah, especially with like major lifts. Like people, as coaches, like we'll hear it all the time. Like, you know, people will come up to us and be like, I don't feel like I'm getting stronger in my lifts, or like my snatch has been the same. Like my clean and jerk, my squat has been the same. Like, but people are just get super, super attached to, especially like you mentioned, because when you start, your baseline is 0. So it keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And you get to that kind of sticky spot where, you know, it's not necessarily a plateau. It's just like maintaining your strength now. And then of course, like this is an experience that everybody goes through. Like everybody at every different level goes through different forms of like maintenance states. And I think the question you got to ask yourself is, if you think you're not getting stronger, like what aspects are you thinking of strength? Are you thinking only of your ability to power snatch? Or are you thinking of your ability to have awareness of your body in space? Are you thinking of your ability to move? Or are you thinking of just overall how you feel? You know, it's something that everybody, if you're doing this long enough, is going to struggle with. And, you know, it just comes down to putting in perspective, like, what do you mean when you say you're not getting stronger? Like, what do you mean? You just mean you're not like adding 2 pounds to your snatch. Like, what about your ability to like reach full depth with tempo? Like that could constitute strength as well. So just having a more varied view of strength and health, as opposed to getting the shiny. I remember my first CrossFit gym I went to, maybe Wodify still does this, I don't know, but like on the whiteboard, whenever you would like get a PR, you get like the gold medal, and like it was so fun. Like obviously if your baseline 0, it's like you clean 135 pounds, boom, gold star. 155, gold star. 165, 175.
Yep.
Like,
I've seen that. So
badass, and then there gets to a point where like
you
get to like that, like maybe like a 215 pound clean, you're like, okay, it's kind of where am I? Like, well, you lose the stars, man.
Good thing I have some tips here, okay? And we're gonna go over these tips, and we got a fun blind rankings for you guys. We got 6 live viewers, by the way. This is good. We need more than that. This is good. Our chat's been hearty today.
It is Mo and Chris.
Yeah, but there's a few things that I want to give tips on to end it, especially for our community, where we're having a lot of people that are now getting well into their CrossFit journey within, let's say 6 to 7 years, right? Which is still not even a long time. But first thing is movement efficiency, which is something that we've been dialing in a lot. Like the actual, your capability to do the movements with fluid technical mechanics that increase your power output and save you energy. And the best way I can make this is like, look at CrossFit Games athletes. watch how they move. It's no longer like the old days where you can just be Kevin Gillespie. I'll use two people, Kevin Gillespie and Tara Huang. They're fucking workhorses, right? But when it comes to cycling reps or bars or gymnastics, like that's like they still work hard through it because they're strong and they can muscle through it. But the key to improving your skill, strength, capacity is being extremely mechanically efficient. And that's why I'm a dog. This is like one reason why I'm really fucking good at CrossFit. It's not because I'm the biggest workhorse, I have the most capacity. I've always had pride in the way I've moved and my mechanics. I did a camp and seminar on this about, like, that was the one thing that stuck. I'm like, if I can get my mechanics to be on point and fluid and like have good arch and hollows and good stable midline positions when I catch, clean, snatch, overhead, whatever, I know I'm going to succeed. So movement efficiency, CNS recovery and development. So one reason you might not just be getting stronger is because your nervous system is on overload. It could be life, stress, overdoing it at the gym. I could probably not lift, and then if I go to a competition and my nervous system is recovered and I got the adrenaline, my nervous system is crazy active, I might have a random fucking PR out of nowhere. Like, where did this come from? Or maybe I got close to a PR that I never really thought I would get close back to. And sometimes we see that like in the open, right? Like we have these like crazy new skills or lifts or whatever, and they just come out of nowhere. And it's because, again, your nervous system is extremely active. Stability and mobility. So constantly work on good mobility mechanics, getting stable in positions. That's why we do a lot of tempo, a lot of isometrics. And then fourth is doing a lot of accessory and movement patterns with lower impact. So example would be like this week on Tuesday, like a snatch grip RDL. Lower impact with jumping and landing, more static, but I'm building the hamstring strength, the upper back tension, the mechanics of getting the bar close to my body that would translate into doing a better snatch technically and having the strength on the pull. So stuff like that are really what matters when it comes to maintenance and also improving, but at a very controlled rate, right? Versus plateauing. Am I maintaining or am I plateauing? Plateauing means you're getting worse. Maintaining means you're actually improving with it, just by doing those, again, 4 things that I mentioned.
Yeah, I think too, like just the ability to consistently show up. Like you're not burning out. You have energy to show. Like being able to show up every single day and find some way to move your body in a way that makes you feel good as opposed to feels like shit. Like that's also part of the maintenance journey too. Yeah.
All right, man. Let's get to the fun stuff. What do you say?
Yeah, you hyped this up.
All right, I did. All right, quick commercial break.
How long are you going to listen to a society that tells you that there's an easy way? Listen to me, there is no quick fix. They're telling us it's a pill, it's an injection, it's this, it's that. No, it's hard work. Your future health is based on the decision you make today. You don't have to be the quickest, the strongest. You just need to take charge. Yes, optimal health can be a reality. Yes, it's yours, but you gotta get up and you gotta go get it. It's yours, but you gotta put in the work. It's yours, but you gotta grind. All it takes is you making a decision right now, because practice makes permanent.
It's yours, but you got to go get it. It's yours right now. Yeah, that's a good commercial, ain't it? First of all, Joe, you can't be over Tia Klatsumi, mate.
I'm over Tia.
She's the goat. She's the goat,
mate. Enough Tia. It's like we get it. You can win every CrossFit Games.
Don't be a cunt now, all right?
We do something else.
Bloody cunt. By the way, Australians use that word regularly now. All right, so don't get your panties all wet now. I'm turning into Marco McDonald. That was one aggressive ad.
Victor's here.
Victor, you would fit into that ad, man. It's yours, but you gotta go get it. Come on now.
Victor lying on the floor.
That's the CrossFit is a cure. It's a great advertisement. All right, blind rankings. All right, Joe. Here's how we'll do it today because you are, I feel like, much more versatile with your Philadelphia sports knowledge than myself. So what we'll do, I just put these up, okay? You can rank these how you would rank them, and I'll rank them the way I would rank them based on my own personal experience with each of these, all right? So we're going to go top 5 Philly sports moments. We're not saying these are all the time top 5, but you can rank these from 1 to 5. So we got the backwards Barkley doing the reverse jump over the defender. Philly special, 2008 World Series. I got 2 baseball things on because it is Red October. Just Allen Iverson persona just as an individual, but I put the practice comment because I'll talk about why. So, and then the 2022 Harper homer in the divisional series that basically was kind of a walk-off. It was in the bottom of the 8th, but
I'm gonna have a unique.
So you rank them how you would rank them.
All right, so I'm gonna go. I'll go Philly 1, Philly special 1, just because that whole Super Bowl was like the best night of all time. So Philly 1. I will go. See, this is where my takes are gonna get a little weird. And I'll explain context.
I know where you're gonna go with it. Go ahead.
Number 2, you don't know. This is gonna surprise you. Number 2 is gonna be the Harper home run.
Okay.
Number 2 is gonna be the Harper home run. Then number 3. Well, I guess these are top for me or top for Philadelphia.
I think it'd be do for you. I want to know for you.
For me, probably the Iverson practice. But if I would put an Iverson moment in there, I would personally put the step over Tyronn Lue in the game 1 of the NBA Finals in 2001. That was pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll put Iverson there at 3. I'll put Barkley at 4. And then I'm going to put the 2008 World Series last. All right, so this is going to be I have a surprising take here and I might get banned for this, but I was not rooting for the Phillies in that World Series in 2008. But I can explain. So I was rooting for the Tampa Bay Rays to win that series because, as many people know, I am a proud Hazeltonian, and
right.
Joe Madden, the Rays coach, when I was growing up, I was just like, he went to high school with my dad. Joe went to high school with my dad. I was dating his niece at the time. I was all about the Rays, man, because Joe was the Hazelton guy who, made it somewhere. It was in baseball. So there was a big section of people from Hazelton who were huge. Look, I'm going to get roasted for this, but I'm telling the truth. It's not my fault. It is my fault. But I was not rooting for the Phillies in that World Series. I was rooting for Joe Madden's Tampa Bay Rays because I was such a proud Hazelton guy.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, my take's not going to be any better to the fans. Now, again, keep in mind. Oh, come back. Keep in mind, my takes are all based on my own personal experience, and I have a great honorable mention. So if you guys got honorable mentions, feel free to start putting them in there. But I'm going to put backwards Barkley number 5. Iconic feat. We've never seen it. The reason why I have it even on the list, probably it shouldn't even be on a top 5 Philly list of Philly sports moments, but I was at that game. Mr. Viola can attest to that. And we were pretty much on the same yard line as where it happened, obviously far away. But it was really cool to just see it in person. And it was just, again, one of the most freakish athletes things you might ever see on a football field from a running back. Now, the reason why it's so low on the list is because he's only been there for 2 years, right? So he's not necessarily a Philly icon, I would say, just even though he got him a Super Bowl. But that's my take. All right. I agree that.
Dude, I wasn't born in Philadelphia. I was born.
Right.
I'm a transplant. People
Right.
forget that.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I'm gonna put I think the World Series, 2008 World Series, if it was a top Philly moment, would be higher. Personally, it's just because I honestly have no fucking clue what I was doing during the World Series 2008, and I don't even recall it. And it's stupid
It's
because
worse than my take.
And it's stupid because like I grew up a baseball fan and a Phillies fan, like die hard, and I went to so many Phillies games, and I'm going to start my next episode Monday with my flashback Philadelphia moment because I'm one of the few people that have been to a Phillies game and called a ball. I still have it. So, yeah, I mean, it's a big, huge sports moment in Philadelphia, but yeah, I wouldn't put it 5, obviously, but I wouldn't put it in my top. Now, Allen Iverson. There was a moment in time I wanted to be like Allen Iverson in terms of basketball, and I wanted to.
Do you have cornrows?
But I wore a headband. I had baggy shorts when I was balling at the YMCA, and I had a good phase of trying to improve myself because that's the person I am. I know if I want to get better at something, I go ball with the brothers. So I went to the YMCA during the summer in 8th grade, and I went to go ball with the brothers and try to keep up. And I was learning a few things. I learned a few Allen Iverson crossovers. But number 3, because one, just to diversify the sports. It can't just be baseball and football. And, the Sixers are never going to have a player as iconic and as valuable as Allen Iverson, ever. Don't fucking ever say Embiid. Don't pull that.
I have some hot takes here.
Fuck that. No one. I mean, Allen Iverson. I mean, you can't say Wilt Chamberlain, I guess, because Allen Iverson did his whole career with the Sixers, right?
No, he was traded a few times.
Shit. All right.
I'm the Sixers historian. Iverson changed the culture of the NBA, and I'm a huge Iverson guy.
Right. Okay.
But I agree with you on that. He did change the fabric of the league. The marker of the arm sleeve.
Damn right, baby. And just that quote, right? Like you don't hear something quoted from a basketball player like that more than Allen Iverson's practice. The Harper Homer, I agree with you. We're on the same page with this. It was just such a fucking cool moment because it was like, the one opportunity for the Phillies to get back into the World Series with that year. And it's like you go to every Phillies game now, and it's like every time he's up to the plate, like they're doing a replay of that home run. It was just awesome. And that was the year like everybody started riding back for the Phillies, getting back on the train. And they can't go wrong with the Philly. Reason why is because we were in Manayunk watching that game. And when they won, we actually got to go out in the city and go experience like the fucking aftermath of people going nuts when the Eagles win a Super Bowl. So I thought that was fun. But practice nugget was the only microcosm of his life. Oh, baby. But big honorable mention here, okay, for Philadelphia sports. You ready for this?
Let's hear it.
Taylor Swift.
No, dude.
Philly native. Ever since Taylor Swift start giving Kelsey some ass, took him under the Eras tour, all that, Kansas City has been fucked.
Yeah, they've been terrible.
Fucked.
That's true. Taylor has.
I'm blaming, and this is the part of Philadelphia sports moments, because if it wasn't for Taylor Swift, they might not have won that Super Bowl last year. I'm telling you this. She's even got a song about Kelsey's cock. You know what I mean? Like, what is this? She's torn down the Chiefs dynasty, and I'm just salty about it, to be honest.
So you're not going to the next tour.
This podcast has lost all credibility. I'm not a historian.
I would probably have just a bunch. See, I'm like the most annoying kind of Philadelphia fan because like my biggest fandom is the Sixers, and everybody hates the Sixers. So like I would put like
I wanted to have a female on here. By the way, we need you got to get some female diversity here. So figured Taylor Swift, being a Philadelphian.
I'm gonna throw a quick honorable mention, and that's when it's such a shitty honorable mention because the Sixers lost this game. But before this one playoff game, Joel Embiid brought out Triple H to do like the suck it with him, and like Triple H wasn't supposed to go out on the court, but he made him come out anyway. Then Triple H got in trouble with like the Sixers. It just like came out doing like I was thinking of my guy Ian Slavich, who comes in the summer, who loves to do like Triple H suck it, and that was awesome. But anyway, yeah, this is a good list.
No, they made the Super Bowl because of Patrick Mahomes being the greatest quarterback of all time.
That's also a bad take.
Fuck, dude. You know, listen, all these I'm okay being shit on with these takes because here's what I did. You know, I made all these very personable. I say to Joe, we're personable guys. We make them relatable to our own experience. We didn't have to go by the statistics and the books here. So yeah, you know, we gotta mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Gotta have some fun. You know, get the Mac Marts and Violas triggered.
Of the 2008 World Series, that is not a reflection of my status as a fan. That is just me as a child growing up, wanting the hometown guy to win. Okay, so get over it, babies.
Listen, I support your decision there, Joe.
Yeah.
I support it. Well, hey, listen, this was a very productive podcast today. We had a lot of engagement. Man, still got 6 viewers. PR on the chat though. This dude, holy moly. Oh, poor Victor's got your back here. Victor's got your back. Everybody adds Joe to their list. Listen, Joe is not an enemy to anybody. He is just he's just amusement. That's all it is.
I'm just the friendly face.
This is funny.
Oh, by the way, Chris Viola needs to be this is my official time to ask you to be my partner for the Just Show Up Cup because your name is written down as my partner.
Can't walk back now. Okie dokie. Well, hey y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Great episode. A lot of good information. We'll be back next week, same time. I'll be back Monday, the morning show. But yeah, take everything you learned here with a grain of salt, I guess, huh? With our rankings. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like
the only team that you should care about in this town is the Sixers. The rest don't matter.
Yeah, I don't know about that. See it, brother. All right. Good stuff, man. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.